This quote up here.
Welcome to this week's Whole Wheat Costa. I kind of have a cold, so I'll probably be coughing a lot. No real need for beer facts. We've had this beer before on air, so Kev's going to crack it. It is Flying Fish, Salt and Sea. Flying Fish is a local, so if you listen, we have a lot of flying fish on. A lot of flying fish, a lot of dogfish head. It's a sour. It is a session sour ale brewed with strawberry and lime.
I remember that one. Yeah. That's real sour.
Yeah, I like it.
That's good.
So this week we watched. Was it number 94?
Sounds right. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. Quentin
Yeah.
Tarintino's 1994 masterpiece is the Renaissance of John Travolta.
Yeah.
He's back.
What was he in after that?
A lot of stuff. A lot of like mid 90s action films.
Okay.
Yeah. Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
Like that.
Vaguely
That stuff.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I named one film, but he was in a bunch of other stuff. Before,
Etc.
yeah, before that, he was in a lot of like flops, family movies and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like after Saturday Night Fever, and this is the probably one of the like biggest roles that pushed Samuel L. Jackson's career. Like he was in other stuff, Spike Lee movies, a couple other movies before this, where like he really got fame and attention. But like this is the one that like really put his star on the map.
Yeah.
So it's I'll go over my synopsis real quick. So I guess there's two storylines, right?
It's kind of four.
Yeah. So we'll start off. It's about two hitmen that
Yeah.
are trying to get a mysterious case for their boss. They go through a wild, crazy story of getting the suitcase, accidentally killing a guy.
And another guy.
Yeah. Well, they killed the whole people, but they accidentally killed a guy. They have to go get their car cleaned, dispose of that car. They go to a diner where they meet the first story about two people robbing them. Jules gives a story about how he's going to quit because the scene, well, non-movie linearly, but in the movie, a guy misses him with 6 bullets. So Jules, who Samuel L. Jackson, wants to quit, and then so he goes to the bar to meet Ving Rhames' character. We meet Butch, who's a boxer who's supposed to take a dive, but he murders the guy while boxing. And then Vincent, who's played by John Travolta, is supposed to take Mia, who's the night before, I guess, all this happens.
I'm not clear when that happened in the timeline.
Yeah, but he takes his boss's wife out on a date.
It can't be the night before because they're talking about it. They're talking about it the day that they kill the guys in the apartment. So they're talking about it then.
Yeah, going on the date.
That day leads right into the bar scene.
Right.
And then the bar scene would lead right into... Would the bar scene... No.
I assume this movie takes place over 3 days.
Would the bar scene... Is the bar scene before or after they kill the guy in the car?
It's after, because they have the swim clothes on.
Well, so they kill the guy in the car. They go to...
The bar to meet the boss, Ving Rhames.
So... No, I think they kill the guy in the car, and then they get the car clean, and then they go to breakfast, and then
they go to
the bar.
Right. Yeah, they go to breakfast, then they go to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at that night, Vincent takes Mia out, and then the next day, Butch doesn't take a dive, and then Butch has to go get the day after that, Butch has to go get his watch, and he kills Vincent.
Yeah.
And then they get into this fight on the street. Ving Rhames and who I can't remember the character's name.
Boxer.
Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah, Marcellus Wallace.
Wallace, sorry. Marcellus Wallace and the boxer Butch get into a fight, and then they get basically kidnapped by a hillbilly rapist.
Yeah.
The way he puts it.
Real weird term.
And then Butch kills the hillbilly rapist, saves Marcellus Wallace, and his debt's cleared. That's the movie.
Yeah. So I think the timeline. So if you go chronologically, because this is kind of a big deal, the thing about how it happens chronologically versus how the movie presents it. I think chronologically what happens is, well, I mean, I guess chronologically first, Christopher Walken gives young Butch the watch out
The
of
watch.
his ass.
Yeah.
So he gives him the ass watch. That's the first thing that happens chronologically. Next is that they go to that apartment.
They go to the apartment.
They go to the apartment. They interrogate that guy. Samuel L. Jackson eats his cheeseburger. Then he shoots the one guy, shoots him. They kidnap the third guy in the car.
No, they don't kidnap him. This is Marcellus Wallace's man. That's the guy on the inside.
Okay. So then they're driving. They accidentally shoot him.
I shot Marvin in the face.
Yeah.
You must have gone on over a bump.
Yeah. They accidentally shoot Marvin. Then they have to go to Quentin Tarantino's house. And then
Jimmy.
And the wolf comes, cleans the car. They get out of there before Quentin Tarantino's wife gets there.
Jimmy's wife.
Then the wolf takes them to a scrapyard where they get rid of the body. Then they decide they're going to get breakfast. They go to get breakfast. While they're at breakfast, Tim Roth's character, who's the one that opens the movie,
right,
is robbing the diner. So by that point, Samuel L. Jackson's already decided that he's going to repent for his sins.
He's going to quit. He's going to be a wanderer.
Right. Then they go from there to the bar, and they meet Marcellus Wallace.
And you meet Butch.
So it's interesting is by that point, so in the way the movie presents it, that's in the first like 20% of the movie that they go to the bar and meet Marcellus Wallace, and it feels like that's still really early in the movie and setting a lot of things up. But in reality, chronologically, that's basically the end of Vince and Samuel L. Jackson's timeline.
Jules Winfield.
Yeah. Jules has done the story already at that point, and that's really 20% of the way through the movie. But we don't know that until the end of the movie,
right?
And then,
by the way, 5 murders have taken place.
Yeah. So then Butch's the boxer Butch, his storyline really starts when their story ends. So it's 2 totally different stories across 2 totally different timelines, and there's only really one thread that connects the 2.
Vincent.
Yes, Vincent. Which is interesting because then what happens is then Butch gets to the bar, and then probably the next night is both when the fight happens and when Vincent takes out Marcellus' wife.
Vincent takes out Marcellus's wife
That night. Okay, so
because the next day, he meets up with Mia, who he's never met before, and he goes, "How you doing?" And she goes, "I never thanked you for dinner." So that Butch's fight is the day after that because Marcellus is back from being out of town.
So wait, no. So when does it happen? Because when does the fight happen in relation to the bar scene?
So the bar scene, let's say it's on a Friday. The fight's on a Saturday.
But then, when did Marcellus go out of town?
He's out of town, and he got back for the fight.
But he was at the bar.
Maybe it's the week after.
Yeah. So we don't really know. So it must be the bar scene. Then Vincent takes out Marcellus's wife, Mia, and then the fight. So by that point, everybody else's story is pretty much over, and it's really just Butch's story. And then Butch doesn't throw the fight. Then runs away
because he has like 7 or 8 bookies with him winning the fight.
Yeah. But then he has to go back to get his ass watched because it's left at the apartment.
Because it's from World War I.
Yeah. And then it was in his dad's ass, then in Christopher Walken's ass. It was never in his ass. It's not his ass watch.
Well, I mean, we don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't judge.
And then, and then all the hillbilly stuff comes later. And then, so when he goes back to get the ass watch, that's when they kill Vincent. Which was interesting because my thought when he goes back to the apartment and Vincent's there is that, so when he shoots Vincent, I'm like, where's Nick Fury? Where's he at? And
he is retired.
And he was already retired, but we don't know that because the movie is shown chronologically out of order.
Right.
So it's all pretty interesting. I mean,
and something I've always thought about is why didn't Vincent get up off the toilet when Butch came into the apartment? He must have thought it was Marcellus Wallace
Maybe.
coming into the apartment.
Maybe you didn't hear him. He's taking a shit.
Yeah.
But
And he's reading the book
yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. So a lot of weird things, and I don't know. I haven't seen. This is my first Tarantino movie. I don't think I've seen the other ones.
No, I think he has 8.
Yeah, but
he's coming out with his 9th.
So people go to the bathroom a lot in this movie, and every time they do, something bad happens. Because the guy in the initial apartment scene's in the bathroom when they come in, and he has a gun and comes out and tries to shoot.
All his friends are killed.
Vincent goes to the bathroom and gets killed. Prior to that, chronologically, but after this in the movie, he goes to...
he goes to the bathroom. There's a robbery.
Yeah, he goes to the bathroom. There's a robbery at the diner. So it's a lot of bathroom stuff. Does Quentin Tarantino have a foot fetish too?
Yeah, that's the rumor. He has a foot fetish.
Because so there's a whole 3-minute long discussion between
Marcellus Wallace.
About Marcellus Wallace's wife, that someone gave her a foot rub, and this whole conversation about whether a foot rub's sexual or not.
Well, have you seen the Kill Bill?
No.
There's a whole 10-minute scene on the bride. It's the same actress. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
Her name's the bride, then Beatrice Kiddo. It's like a whole scene of her trying to wiggle her toe because she's in a coma, trying to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's him showing other people's feet.
Yeah. He showed a lot of women's feet in this movie.
In Inglourious Bastards, there's a whole scene of him putting a shoe on a woman. It's a very sensual shoe putting on.
It's weird. I mean, in one case it's weird. On the other hand, good for him that he has a foot fetish and he's not afraid to talk about it because, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not my particular fetish, but I mean, everyone has one. Everyone has something weird that they find sexual.
It's something that, because I hate feet.
Yeah.
It's not a creepy foot fetish, or it's not a creepy.
Well,
fetish.
because it's all attractive women's feet. So, if you've shown weird feet, then I think people would be weirded out by it.
Yeah, but
I think if you don't have a foot fetish, you're not grossed out by an attractive woman's feet.
No, I'm just saying he's not diddling kids.
Yeah,
the producer.
Exactly,
yeah.
Dude. It's such a shame because that was my first thought. When the movie started up, it's Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
that guy's a fucking creep.
As soon as that happened, he cut ties. He publicly was I'm cutting ties.
Yeah.
Quick story about Harvey Weinstein and Tarantino. Do you know Kevin Smith though, right?
The Jay and Silent Bob guy?
Yeah. Yeah, all his movies, they were also Weinstein movies.
Okay.
So he explained it on his podcast that so because you have a contract with these producers that when you write a movie or do a movie, you have to go to them first. And if they accept it, you have to make the movie with them.
Yeah.
But if they don't accept it, you could shop around because, but then say if you have a 5-movie contract and this is your 3rd movie and they don't do it, you still have to do your other 3 more movies with them.
Okay.
Where this movie shopped around to different producers.
Yeah.
So Kevin Smith was talking about that, and Tarantino talked about that too, and he's look, I don't care what contracts we have, but both of them at the same time, they're we're canceling our contract. We're not. Even if he has another brother, that's fine. We can get sued, lose money, but we're not going to be with the Weinsteins anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people dropped it, but those 2 guys are the biggest ones.
Yeah. What do you think was in the case?
That's the rumor. No one knows. Some people say it's Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Yes, that's all I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, that's why he has the Band-Aid on the back of his...
Yeah, that's where soul was sucked out because he sold it to the devil.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta are getting his soul back, which is why God protected them from getting shot. And then once they got the soul back, they didn't need protection anymore, so John Travolta was killed.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that is... Tarantino said that Ving Rhames had a scar on the back of his neck, so he just covered it up. Yeah. But he said you could think whatever it is. Some people think it's gold.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of a soul.
Yeah.
I'm glad he wasn't yes, that's what it is. Where what they did with some movies and some TV shows where people came up with these great ideas and the showrunners yep, you guys are right. You got it. Well,
it's just a real classic, just MacGuffin. It's as MacGuffin-y as it can get. It's just a thing. I honestly didn't even pay that much attention to it. When they're first going to get it, I just assumed they were getting like money from them or something. Like when he
Right.
opened the suitcase, I really didn't give it a second thought. It wasn't until like multiple times when the suitcase was opened. I think especially it really set it home when Tim Roth opens the suitcase and you have the gold shine on him, and I just thought it was gold because it looked like the reflection of like, like light would reflect off of gold.
Yeah, but it can be. I don't. It can't be gold because
Yeah.
no one would kill 5 men.
Well, that much gold would be a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it would also be really heavy. And I don't think it was that because there wasn't really the right lighting for it to actually shine like that back on them.
Right. It's something spectacular.
Yeah. I think according to one of the set people, it was batteries and 2 light bulbs. That's what was actually the case.
Yeah. So overall, what did you think about the movie?
So I thought it was okay. I mean, so it was kind of annoying because it was the first movie I could actually watch on TV. It's the first movie I didn't watch on my, 5-inch smartphone screen. But of course it was the worst movie to watch, like with a kid running around and stuff. Like, I mean, I was watching kind of late, so she went to bed like, pretty early on, but they got to the scene with Butch and his girlfriend. Yeah.
Oh, Butch's
No,
girlfriend
yeah,
when
Butch-
he comes in and he
yeah.
goes down on her.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, like are you guys going to bed? Like, what's the deal? Like, I don't know.
Oh, he's Allison. He's tickling her feet.
Which would be believable. Yeah, and then she would be like, oh, what is a Quentin Tarantino movie? That makes sense.
Yeah, because she's seen more Quentin Tarantino movies. Yeah. So what I like about Tarantino, and I think like a lot of people, it is like every scene he directs is like an homage to a new scene.
Yeah.
And the dialogue for every movie he's ever done is very sharp and like very well thought out. Like no regular human thinks like that.
Yeah.
So it's and then again it's all in the same universe except for the Kill Bill movies. Those are movies inside that universe. But like you could find he connects the dots for all of his movies.
Interesting.
And like
So it's the Tarantino cinematic universe.
Yeah.
It's the TCU.
Yeah. And so like that movie, like Vincent Vega and Reservoir Dogs, which I still think you should watch, I think is still on Netflix.
Okay.
It's his first movie, so he made a like Sundance or Cannes film, and then they made that into like a low budget movie where Harvey Keitel and Tim Roth are the leads in that.
Okay.
And then there's another character.
So I would have been more excited to see Tim Roth if I'd seen the other movie.
Yeah, probably. And Steve Buscemi, he's the waiter. Like you're like, oh, he's bringing back the old crew,
Versus like for me, like I thought it was, I mean, it made sense. It made sense storytelling wise to the overall plot that we started with Tim Roth's character, but he was the least important character in the whole movie. So it's a really weird choice to start with him. And then he cuts away, and then he's not heard from again for 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
It's weird.
What I was saying is, so Michael Madsen plays the other Vega brother. Apparently, they're brothers.
So while Vincent was in Amsterdam, the other stuff was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bank robbery and all this other stuff, and his brother gets killed. So they wanted to do he wanted to do a Vega Brothers film, but now that they're all old, fat, and bloated, they can't do a prequel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, true. And Vincent
Vic Vega.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So the style of suits are all the same, and there's a really good joke in Reservoir Dogs where like you kind of have to they're explaining like the job of the diamond heist.
Yeah.
And Joe Cabot, the old man, played by Lawrence Tierney, he goes, and then the diamonds are shipped off to all the banks. And Harvey Keitel's like, no, they aren't. And then they laugh. And like after, like, what are they laughing? Like, it's just two old men laughing a joke. And then like as you like watch it over and over again, you're like, oh, that's why they laugh, because it's a very like subtle joke. And this movie, I don't think had any subtlety.
Yeah.
There's no subtlety at all.
So is that the case time-wise, though, that Reservoir Dogs happened while Vincent Vega was in Amsterdam?
Probably. I believe so. Well, probably around the same time.
So that would be the reason why they talked about that multiple times in this movie, because if you've seen Reservoir Dogs, you would probably make that connection.
Yeah.
So
because he's gone for 3 years.
Yeah. So how come I was really attached to Samuel L. Jackson's character, and even in the diner scene, when I knew logically he would be fine, I was pretty nervous. Versus when Vincent Vega was shot, I didn't care at all.
Because Vincent Vega is an asshole.
Yeah, I don't think he's unlikable.
He's kind of unlikable. Like, he shows up. I mean, he's definitely a nincompoop. But when the wolf shows up and he's like, please, and he's like, what? He's like, look, and I'm not trying to offend you, but I would like a please. Like, and he's like, well, I'm here to help you. Like he's like, oh, I don't believe anybody should talk to me like that. Like, he's just like a douchebag throughout the whole thing. Like, he's not a good guy. Like, they set him up to not be a good guy. Like, he's not worse than Jules, but the way he talks to people, like, he thinks he's better than people.
Yeah.
And he's very, like, short-tempered. You're like, ah. But Jules is like the inner man we all wish we could be, like, cool and calm and gives good speeches before he murders.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, when Bruce Willis goes to his apartment, like, I was totally rooting for him over Vincent. And then when he shoots Vincent, I didn't care at all. Like, not even a little bit. And at this point, we spent a lot of time with him in this. We probably spent the most time with him in this movie by this point.
Yeah. It's just, I guess, like, one of your favorite words, which it's subvert your expectations. Yeah. Like, the star of the film gets killed.
He was really like the Ned Stark of this film.
Yeah, he is. He got killed in Act 2.
I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of things in this movie, and maybe again, if I had seen other Tarantino movies, that I would have picked up more. But there was a lot of stuff that happened where I'm like, I know that means something, but goddamn if I know what it is. Like there wasn't. I don't know. I couldn't derive meaning from a lot of things. Like I didn't understand the point of the entire half hour with Vincent Vega and Mia. Like, what was the point of all of that?
I still don't know.
Like I was bored during that part. Like that's honestly like if that weren't in the movie, I think I would be, I don't know. I think the movie's like 6 out of 10 for me. I think it'd be like 8 out of 10 if that weren't in the movie.
Well, you do get to see like the scene of her, I guess, ODing on heroin.
Yeah.
And going back to the drug dealer. Like, if they cut that part out, like.
But she's not important anyway. Like, she doesn't really, she doesn't have any impact on any of the other stories.
Oh no, not at all.
So we don't care about her. And then I don't think it tells us that much about Vincent's character.
What I think, just my personal opinion.
Yeah. He just wanted some foot shit in there?
Yeah, he wanted her in there.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's such a fucking long movie. And,
yeah.
you could cut out that whole half hour. I mean, it probably was a half hour between going to the apartment and then the fucking at the restaurant was the worst part.
Well, did you notice? Sorry, guys. So Jack Rabbit Slims, right?
Yeah.
They have Jack Rabbit Slims, and they have the trophy, and they came home with the trophy. Like, the next day on the radio, they're like, someone stole the trophy from the Jack Rabbit Slims dance.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that. I didn't miss
that. They stole the trophy.
Yeah,
yeah, they didn't win at all because that dance was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. See, like that was the stuff. Like, so I mean, I think the reason why this movie is so popular is for two reasons. I think it's because Samuel L. Jackson's awesome. Because honestly, most of the lines that Samuel L. Jackson said in this movie, I've heard other people say in life.
Very quotable.
And I've never seen the movie. So he has so many cool quotes from this movie, and it's mostly because of how he delivers them. So that's the one. And the other is because, I mean, it is interesting with the non-chronologic storytelling. But, I mean, I don't know that that's enough to make it 2.5 hour long movie where at least a half hour, if not more of it, was like pointless. Like that it's on this list. Like I don't know. I'm struggling with the cultural significance of this movie, I guess is where I'm at.
Well, I just don't think you've seen enough movies. And I don't think you've seen like enough Tarantino movies. And
but that's what I mean. But we're judging this movie. We're not judging Quentin Tarantino's career.
But you would judge differently if you've seen Reservoir Dogs before this. Like, you would judge differently.
Yeah, but I'm an average person watching movies. So
average people have seen Reservoir Dogs.
So what you're yeah. So okay. So I'd be curious if I saw Reservoir Dogs first if I would change my opinion. But are you saying potentially that this list is not the 100 greatest films in America or made by Americans. This is the 100 greatest films. I mean that kind of sounds like this is the 100 greatest films if you're a film snob and have seen every film. Not really the 100 greatest films, if that makes sense.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying like you have to see progression.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
most people that have like put these films together,
Yeah.
like it's not, there's some sort of significance to the film.
Yeah.
Like you see this guy who just made a movie that won all these awards, and then you see what he did with like a real budget.
Yeah.
And it's like, the dance Mia Wallace scene is like, it's kind of boring. But like the rest of the movie is like really good, like the nonlinear progression, and like you try to go back and forth. Like he does that with his other movies, and it doesn't pay off as much. Like in The Hateful Eight, it doesn't really pay off. He only does it once, thank God.
Yeah.
But like and it's not the first movie with nonlinear progression, but it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
Well, that's what I mean. So are there any other Tarantino films on the list we're doing?
I don't believe so, no.
So
But I could check.
So is this movie that good of a movie, or is this just a nod to the fact that Quentin Tarantino's total filmography is really good?
I think it definitely is one of the best movies. How many cool lines?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
But
it's a memorable movie.
But cool lines don't make a movie.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, they don't hurt.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
But I mean, like, when Sam Jackson's on screen, didn't you love the movie?
Yeah, but
you loved every scene he was in.
But he's not on screen enough. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, there's arguably, depending on what you consider the Tim Roth stuff, there's 3 or 4 interconnected stories playing out together in a nonlinear fashion, and I feel like only half of the stories work. Like only half the stories are interesting.
No, there's no more Tarantino.
Yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, I just wonder if this is just a nod to like the TCU.
No, I think the movie's universally loved though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it has a great critic score, a great audience score. I think it's like it's like in the mid 90s for both things. But
it's really well written. Of course, there's boring stuff. Like there's every movie we watched. Like look at The Searchers. That's on there, and there was that whole boring middle part too.
Yeah.
And then
no, I like this movie. Yeah. I'm just struggling with how it's culturally significant. I feel like, well, I mean, bringing up Baby also. I mean, bringing up Baby was trash, but the other movies, like I feel like we could easily justify like what their larger message is, like why there's some American meaning behind them.
Maybe it doesn't have to have a meaning. Maybe it's just a fun movie. It's just a ride.
Yeah,
it's a roller
coaster. We're out
coaster.
here to have fun.
Yes,
we're not about culturally significant
movies. Are fun.
So I mean, the only thing I guess there's some sort of violence message, like I think the whole stuff with the wolf is interesting because they just killed somebody and their only concern is not pissing off the guy's wife.
Right.
So and they take it very seriously that this guy's wife's going to come home and be mad at him.
I don't think there's any message in this movie.
But they don't. But I mean, every movie has a message.
No, it doesn't.
So
I think it's purely entertaining.
I don't think it would be on this list if there was no message.
There's no message.
I don't know. I mean, and as much as I thought parts of this were weird, I mean, obviously Tarantino's like known as a great filmmaker, so
and he's kind of a weird guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I don't think. Yeah, I don't think any piece of art doesn't have a message. I mean, maybe it doesn't have a. I mean, maybe the message doesn't drive the story, but I think every piece of art has some sort of message.
Ooh, there's a message.
Yeah.
Always put your heroin in balloons, not baggies.
Yeah, true.
I think that's the message you're looking for.
Yeah. But I mean, it could be some commentary on violence because, like I was saying, in that scene, I mean.
Oh, and Butch definitely scratches Vincent's car.
You think so?
Yeah.
How so from the movie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
um, but yeah, I mean, but yes. So in that scene, I mean, it is an interesting juxtaposition of they just killed a guy, and the only thing that they're worried about is I mean the problem of not getting caught, and then the problem of that guy's wife coming home. So like this guy's wife being mad at him is like way more important than the fact they just murdered a human being.
Yeah, well,
So that's an interesting juxtaposition.
once again, if you go back to his previous film, Reservoir Dogs, they have a whole scene like where they're about like Tarantino asked Steve Buscemi, no, not Tarantino, sorry, Tarantino dies. Mr. Orange, I believe, who's Harvey Keitel.
Okay.
He asks, no, not Mr. Orange, Mr. White.
Yeah.
He's Mr. White. Mr. Orange, Tim Roth, he gets shot in the stomach.
Yeah.
He's an undercover cop. They're just crime films. I don't think there's a message. They're just crime films.
That's what I mean. I
don't think there's a message. But anyway, so Mr. White, they asked him, he's like, did you kill any people? He's like, no, just a couple cops. And he's like, no, any real people? He's like, no. So like this whole crime is like killing people is just it's just a way of life. Like it's not big. It's like making eggs for us.
Well, that's what I mean. So that's a commentary on that lifestyle, or on violence in America in general, that people are so desensitized to this that they don't even see that in the movie. They don't even really see the violence, or they're not bothered by the violence. And the characters in the story aren't bothered by the violence. They're bothered by other factors. Like I don't know, like try to think of with the whole rape scene too. So do you think in the movie that the rape scene is treated the same way as the violence, where it's played off, or do you think that is supposed to be more shocking in the movie?
You got to realize, like, it is shocking.
Yeah.
But like, Butch, Marcellus Wallace wants to kill Butch.
Yeah.
And he's so disgusted by this rape that they know is rape. Yeah. He goes down there and kills him the most brutal way possible.
Yeah.
Like he could have picked any one of those weapons, the bat, the hammer, the chainsaw, but he picks a samurai sword.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, how do you think the movie tried to present that rape? Was the rape also supposed to be played off like the violence, or is the rape supposed to is the rape supposed to be a big deal?
The rape's supposed to be a big deal.
Yeah.
He's going to save the person that is pledged to kill him.
Yeah.
It's
but how are you as an audience person do you think supposed to feel watching the movie?
Disgusted.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Disgusted.
That's what I mean. So that's another that, I mean, that's a specific act of violence, and that's put as a taboo, whereas regular violence isn't.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Murderers hang out with other murderers in prison. Rapists.
Yeah.
If they're not locked away, are killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like violence just in the movie and in regular society. Like violence, like if it happens to you, is disgusting. But if it doesn't happen to you, what's your first thought? Gee, my family's safe. Good thing it wasn't me. But if someone in your neighborhood gets raped, your first thought is like, oh my God, that could happen to us. You know what I mean? It's more disgusting. It's more vile. Like the victim can't really live with himself.
So that's a message.
Yeah.
So that violence bad, violence fine, sexual violence bad, foot fetish good.
Yeah.
So
foot fetish not for everyone.
Yeah.
Least creepy of all fetishes.
So on a Tarintino scale, from homosexual rape to foot fetish.
Yeah.
that's how we should judge all movies from now on.
Yeah.
But
I think the whole scene in the pawn shop is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. So but that's a big departure from the rest of the movie, where violence is really, is somewhat glorified, is either glorified or just played off as or trivialized.
Well, I don't think I don't think it's as glorified, or it's, it is trivialized, but it's not glorified because all the characters we meet, except for Mia Wallace
Yeah.
and not Honey Bunny, Bruce Willis's girlfriend,
Yeah.
they're all violent people.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to work and
Yeah.
you talk about penises.
Yeah.
Like if somebody came up to me and started talking about penises, I'm like, whoa, dude, I don't want to talk about penises. But like, it's so normal in your line of work to start talking about penises, like and patients and stuff like that. Where like if they talk about violence or they do violence, like it's you know what I mean? Oh, I've done that before.
Oh, so I thought it was kind of funny. So this is a little bit off color, but I don't think it's really going to share on the podcast. So I was at a party on Saturday, and I was talking to a couple. I guess I'm kind of friends with them, a couple of Kelly's friends that are these two gay guys, and somehow like job stuff came up. And,
Wait, are they in the gimp suit?
huh?
Was one in the gimp suit? Oh.
They were not. And the one, and they're both like really funny. And the one guy was asking something work related, and somehow we started talking about like the penile injection stuff, like penile injections for ED that I teach a lot of guys how to do. And so I was like, he was asking me questions about it, so I was describing like how it works and like what we tell guys in the office. And then he asked about like, he essentially asked like if I ever get an erection, like trying to sneak it in like about the guys getting erections, but asking if I ever get one. And I was like, well, I never get an erection. But I thought it was funny the way he asked it, because he was like,
wait, you don't get erections?
not while I'm at work doing that. It was like the implication. Not while I'm at work with other guys' penises, essentially.
So do you think?
But I thought it was funny that he tried to secretly gay me.
So do you think he would have got an erection?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like pretty funny. I don't know.
I think you just get desensitized to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. Like we have, so your penis at work example, like we have model penises just hanging around.
Yeah.
There's another service that sometimes sees patients like in our office, and they make comments for like, oh, could you guys like take the penises out of all the rooms? And we're like, no, there are penises. We can't take them out.
So here's another movie I can almost guarantee you never saw. Have you ever seen In Bruges?
No.
All right, it's with Colin Farrell. It's about a hitman, Colin Farrell, young hitman, and he goes to kill a priest.
Yeah.
But he shoots and he goes through the confession booth through a door and kills a little boy. So they have to lay low. So his partner, who's an older hitman, he takes him to. They set up a Holiday Inn in Bruges. It's in like Belgium or whatever. And so his number one rule is don't kill children or women, or it's just don't kill children, whatever. Yeah. So he kills a child. So like a couple days pass, and the boss calls him up and he goes, "Hey, like it's another level of desensitized. Like they're hitman. Like killing people is no, like they kill people, they shoot people on accident, they don't care. But the kid killed a child. He's like, that's the line. Yeah, that's my code. Don't do it." So the whole movie goes on, and it's a silly movie. It's just like it's like this movie. I guess the message there is like, don't kill children. Yeah. But it's just a very like, it's linear, but it's a very like, you're following these guys around, and you're like, this is just a day in these guys' lives, Yeah. So he kills a child, and then the boss calls up the older guy, and he goes, "Hey, you got to kill your partner because we don't kill partners." And he's like, "Well, I can't do that." So the boss comes down and he's like, "Look, I'm going to kill your partner." He's like, "Then I might kill you." So like, hijinks ensue. It's like a kind of drama, comedy and everything. And they're chasing him through town. And the boss is shooting at Colin Farrell, right? And he shoots him like a couple times in the heart. Or like the chest area or whatever. So you don't know if he dies or not. But one of the bullets goes through Colin Farrell and hits a child. What he thinks is a child. And he turns around.
It's really a midget.
It's a midget. Yeah, it's just a midget, like, because they're filming a movie in Bruges. Okay. Right? So he's like, "Oh no, I killed a child." And then, like, he's like, "Well, rules are rules." And he takes the gun and like blows his head off, right? He's like, "No, it's a midget." And he just shoots himself.
That sounds like South Park.
It's not. It's way better than South Park. So it's like that. It's the same like sort of like violence is their job. Like
Yeah.
they're desensitized, but there's a line. You know, just like in this movie, like there could be like killers as much as you want, but then they're like, yeah, but rape's our line. Like no rape.
Yeah.
You know, even like Butch goes back. Like he's like, this man wants to kill me. He's like, I don't know what's gonna happen between me and him, but like I can't let him stay down there and get raped.
I feel like no one listens to us on YouTube, mostly on the other podcast stuff. But if I like go home and think of a point for this movie, I'll record like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah,
just to put on YouTube.
Yeah.
I should take my camera back since we never use it.
Yeah.
In case I ever wanted to do that. Because I have the thought sometimes, but I haven't had like a clear message that I wouldn't do it just to talk. I would do it if I had like a clear point that I want to talk about.
Like a rant.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll take the camera home. If you guys see a random video pop up, it's because I thought of the message.
I really think that's a movie. In Bruges is a movie you should watch. We should do
Alright.
next week on Bruges, then Goodfellas.
Yeah. Oh, it's Goodfellas now. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Goodfellas. That might be on Netflix or something.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
So I don't believe there's an actual real message in this movie. I just think it's a crime movie. I like it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Goodfellas is up there too.
Yeah.
I just think the dialogue it's very stylized. Just the very, I guess, Tarintino-ized.
Yeah.
No one ever speaks like that, except the only real believable character would be Marcellus Wallace
Yeah.
and Jules Winfield.
Yeah. Well, interesting with the rape scene too that it happened to Marcellus Wallace. So he's like the most powerful, untouchable person, and he's the one that gets, sort of abused and marginalized in that scene. But then he's able to take the power back, basically. So maybe the whole movie leads up to that.
Yeah.
Since that is one of the latest things. I mean, that's, I guess, arguably the latest thing that happens in the timeline. So maybe the whole movie is leading up to that, and it's supposed to be some commentary on sexual violence and, victims taking their power back or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. But, he got some pipe hitting to,
Yeah.
mess him up.
But yeah, I feel like he shouldn't have shot him, because then he could have kept him alive longer.
Well, I think he shot him in the side.
Yeah, I think he shot him in the D.
Yeah?
I think so. I think he shot him in the groin, lower abdomen area.
Oh, but he's bringing a doctor.
Yeah,
He's gonna torture this shit out of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you feel fine with that, watching the movie. You're rooting for Marcellus Wallace then. I feel like you're kind of rooting for Bruce Willis to that point. Now you're rooting for Marcellus Wallace to torture the shit out of that guy. I didn't really want Bruce Willis to leave him necessarily. I didn't care that much, but I mean I was happy with his decision to go back and get him. I wasn't I feel like sometimes in movies when the good guy goes back, you're like, oh fuck, leave that guy, don't go back.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that way this time.
But did you notice that no one in this movie is a good person?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Butch is the closest. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, well, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He definitely
He just gamed the system.
he murdered a guy.
Yeah.
He killed a guy.
Well, no, I don't think he intended to kill him during the fight. I think he just beat the shit out of him so much that he I mean, boxers have died before. I think that's just what happened.
Yeah, Lance was a good guy, other than he's a drug dealer. He sells heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but he's I feel like that character has been in other movie. That type of character has been in other movies now. So I feel like in newer movies. So I feel like his character would have stood out more watching this in 1994 as well, because I feel like that kind of good guy, hippie, drug dealers has been in other things now.
right. Yeah. So, got anything else to say?
I think that's it.
I am surprised this movie's on the list because all the rest of the movies are from the 30s until the 70s. But there's a couple 90s movies on the list where I'm just surprised because it of the type of movie it is, where it's not what I would call family friendly.
Also,
the rest of the movies are kind of family friendly.
Well, that's what I mean. So for this to be on the list, it must have significant cultural significance, I think.
Yeah.
And then, I feel like a lot of the other movies at this point have dealt with racial issues in some way, which makes sense because, I mean, that's really interwoven into America because of our past. So it makes sense that a lot of the culturally significant movies would deal with race in some way. And this really didn't. I mean, there were racist
There's
characters.
racist characters, definitely.
But I don't think there were any racial messages. In
But
this
I don't think, there's no racial messages.
Yeah.
But I think because there are racist characters and they do have, racial epitaphs like strewn throughout the whole movie, it makes it feel more grounded and more real because you could definitely see people like that in real life.
Well, yeah. So I mean, maybe that's the racial message. It's 1994 now, and these words, at least, maybe this is the Tarintino message, is these words don't have the power they used to. That maybe society isn't as racist as it used to be at that point. Versus, what in 1991 we had that Unforgiven movie. I guess there wasn't much racism stuff in that, right?
No, I really don't think so.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's kind of the point, though. I mean, you have a pretty equal mix of black and white characters in the movie, and the racial stuff's thrown around without a lot of shock value. It's just how people talk in the movie. So
it doesn't seem forced.
So maybe there is a racial message that at least in Tarantino's mind in the mid '90s, racism isn't a big deal.
Yeah. But then you have the LA riots, so
yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I've seen Goodfellas. There's also a pretty boring part in Goodfellas too. But actually, I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about Goodfellas, and which you'll spoiler warning. For Kevin.
Well, don't spoil it for me.
When Joe Pesci gets shot.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You're like, oh, the whole tone of the movie changes. You're like, oh, this movie's kind of boring. But it's all right. It's
well, I'll watch out for that tone change.
Yeah, it's like a whole tone. The movie's based off true events. Henry Hill's a real guy. You can read his book. He wrote it while he was in prison or right after he got out of prison.
I won't read it.
Yeah, me either. But
not a reader.
That's a Scorsese movie, it's Joe Pesci's like second big film. Okay. It was like really his, even though he's in his 50s during this movie. Yeah. Because he's like old as shit. Like it's like he was like a comedy duo with like another guy, and he had other stuff, and like he really steals the spotlight from everybody in this movie.
Yeah, look forward to it.
So it's a really good movie. So thanks for listening to this week's Whole Week Casa. Hope you tune in next week for Goodfellas. Bonus pod.
Bum bum bum.